Hi guys, welcome to Mama Goals. It's that time of the year we've all been waiting for. So grab your sewing machine because today we're making these adorable Christmas envelope pillow covers inspired by the Grinch. So stay tuned. For this project, I'm using 2.5 yards of red flannel, 1 yard of this red plaid flannel, 1 yard of a cotton Christmas green fabric, and this really cool Grinch, oh my gosh, I can't even say it, Grinch cotton fabric, and this comes in a panel, and this is about 3/4 of a yard, so it is less than a yard, and I thought it was so cool. As soon as I seen it, I thought I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna cut the squares out and sew it on a pillow. That way I have a little Grinch theme going on. I do recommend a stabilizer just so that you could use behind your Grinch fabric, just so it brings out those nice bright colors. I'm also gonna be making a throw blanket with this really nice soft fabric that I found. Okay, so let's get into the supplies. You will need a lint roller for easy cleanup, scissors, fabric marking tools like a washable pen or white marking pencil, which is perfect to use when you're using dark fabrics. Also, you will need coordinating thread. I like to use Wonder clips, and I also do use pins. It's always good to have that. And make sure you have your pin cushion or a container next to you. You need a measuring tape, and if you have an 18-inch ruler, then they do come in handy, and also just your sewing machine. Okay, so grab your pillow and we're gonna measure on both sides. Always measure twice and cut once. I've had to learn from my mistakes, so please measure it really good. I have an 18 by 18 pillow here, so all I'm doing is adding 1 inch all around, so my square is going to be cut at a 19-inch mark on both sides, and that's for the front only. Now for the back piece, I'm using a red fabric. With this, you want your width to stay the same as the front piece, but what we're gonna do is add 6 inches. So remember, we added 1 inch to the front piece. Now for the length, you're going to add 6 inches. So 19 plus 6 equals 25. So you should have a rectangle measuring at 19 by 25 inches. Then fold the longest part in half and cut it. You should have a rectangle, 2 rectangles measuring at 18 by 12 and a half. Now for my Grinch panel, I'm going to cut my square, but I am gonna leave a red fabric all around, measuring around 1/2 inch. That way I can fold it in and sew it on my pillow. For my stabilizer, I'm going to measure the green square and add a 1/4 inch all around. That way when I sew it, I can fold it over, because I am going to be sewing a straight stitch as close as I can, but I still want some of that red fabric to show, just so that it shows really nice on the green fabric. became a stay-at-home mom, I had to pick up hobbies that I could do at home to entertain myself. I just didn't want to take care of babies, clean, and cook. I wanted to do something for myself to kind of get my mind off of things. And so I found that sewing was something that I really enjoyed doing. And I have to thank my niece Kaya. My niece came over, you guys. She was so sweet. She came over, she taught me the basics, and from there I just started watching a lot of YouTube videos. So Kaya, if you're watching this, thank you so much for coming over and teaching me how to sew. I enjoy sewing now, and I love making things for my family. And I remember one of our first projects that we did was a pillowcase, and I closed the whole thing shut, you guys, and I was supposed to leave an opening to put in the pillow. Now I'm going to be sewing the back 2 rectangles, and so you want to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just fold it over and sew a straight stitch. You can do this another way also, where you fold it over twice so it just has more of a cleaner look to it, but since it's inside, no one's going to be able to see it, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it over once and then sew a straight stitch. Alright, you guys, so now we've sewn our Grinch square onto our fabric. We also sewed the seam on the back fabric, and now we're going to put it together. You want the right sides facing each other, and you want to overlap the back 2 rectangles. You want a good 3 inches of overlap, just so that your pillow is secure and snug at the same time. And after, we're going to pin it all together. You want to make sure everything's secured so nothing moves. Now that everything is pinned, I'm just going to measure. So your measurement should be at 19 by 19 inches because we overlap the back. It should be the same size as the front. And it's safe to say that you can sew this pillow shut because it's an envelope pillow. You still have that opening where we overlap our fabrics, and that's where our pillow is going to go in from. So now I'm just going to switch to my standard foot, and I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way across. And if you see any excess fabric, like right here, just make sure you cut it just so that you have a smoother and cleaner guideline when you sew. Okay, so when you get to the end, you always want to make sure you back stitch to secure those threads, and you want to clip the corners so that when you do flip it, you have really nice and clean corners that are not all bunched up together. Okay, so now we're gonna flip everything. That way we can enjoy this beautiful pillow. I think it looks so good, you guys. I saved myself a good $60. I was looking on Etsy to see anything similar. Nothing came close, honestly, but they did have a Grinch pillow for $25, and I spent about $17 to make 3 Grinch pillows, so I'm so happy. Now, for the moment of truth, I'm gonna see how my measurements ended up being. Wow, you guys, I have to say this pillow was so adorable. It was the exact size that I needed, and I think it looks so good. I can't wait for my daughter to see it. Now, to go with these pillows, I thought I would make a fun throw blanket with this red fur. And for this, you are gonna need a lint roller because it frays a lot. Okay, so here I have both fabrics facing right sides together, and I have 1.5 yards of my red fur fabric and 1.5 yards of my flannel. So you want to sew all the way around except for that little like 8-inch gap opening. You want to make sure that you have an opening, that way you can put your hand through and flip everything nice. I do recommend for you to have 1.5 inches or 2 seam allowance because this fabric moves a lot. I think this is probably one of the fabrics that I was nervous while I was sewing because it just moved so much. So just be careful, make sure you pin a lot. And I'm so sorry, you guys. As I'm doing the voiceover, I can see that the camera moved a lot when I was sewing because I do have like a heavy duty machine, so it does vibrate a lot. I was trying to look online to see how much these blankets go for, and I actually came across one on Etsy. Etsy always helps me to kind of know how much I'm saving, just because I do like to make a lot of things, and sometimes you spend more money making things, but sometimes you do save a lot of money. And with this blanket, I saved myself hundreds of dollars because I am working with a faux fur, which is fake fur, and something similar like this, that's rabbit fur, goes from anywhere to $150 to $300 depending on the size and the color. So I was just so happy that I could make my own, and it looks so good, you guys. Okay, so here I have my opening, and now I'm just gonna flip everything over, and where that opening is, I'm gonna just fold the inside, and I am gonna sew a straight stitch just right on top. Alright you guys, so we are getting to the end, and I have to be honest with you guys, this was probably one of the hardest fabrics I've ever had to work with, just because it moves so much. It's very slippery, but I would totally do it again. This blanket came out so good. Okay you guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Till next time.